Okay, let's start going through the actually editing, the page editing page. So pages, we can either go add new, that takes us to that page. So you click on add new, and this is the page editing page. Even though it says add new here, add new page here, this is the page editing page. And also it's worth noting that the post editing page looks very similar as well. So there's a huge, even though pages and posts are very different things, there's a lot of overlap between, well, I would say probably 99% overlap or 95% overlap between these pages. Okay, so all pages. Let's start structuring the home page. So edit. Okay. And first of all, this has screen options as well. So you can decide how much information you want to show. I would say generally more is better. And number of columns. I like to work in one column. But as the default is 2 columns, I'm going to leave it as that and work like that. Okay, so the page title, let's leave it as home. Permalink, you can edit the slug here, the actual address of the page here if you choose. But the home page, even though it's got the address of webAddress.com/home, because of what we set up here in settings and reading previously, even though it appears here, this home is actually ignored. This part of the address is ignored because, well, you can see this clearly. If I visit the home page, it's the root, it's the main web address. It's not /home. /home would work if you type that in. That works as well. But there's, nobody's going to visit that page. I mean, nobody's going to visit that address. Home is, because the way we've set things up, home is the home page, as it should be. Okay, so I'm going to leave the slug as it is, but you can change that if you want. But remember, you don't want to change things around too much. So once an address is agreed upon, you generally want to leave it as it is. Okay, let's cancel that. Okay, I'm going to talk through all the options first of all, ignoring the most important part. And we'll come to that in a later video. So the most important part is the actual editing section of the page. That's where you create and edit content. But let's talk through everything else first. So publish. Status. I talked through this in an earlier video. The 3 statuses are draft, pending review, published. If nobody's visiting your site, it doesn't matter if you publish a page which isn't complete, because nobody's seeing it anyway. But if the site is live and you're creating new pages but they're not quite ready, save as draft. So I could save this as draft if I wanted, so okay that. But I need to update for that change to actually take effect. And then to see, even though it's in draft format, so it's not publicly available, even though it's saying visibility public, that's fine, we can ignore that. The status is draft, and we can click on preview, and it shows us the page, which is completely blank, as if it was actually live on the site. Okay, so that's draft. Visibility public. Generally your content is going to be public. You can have it entirely private if you want, so that only very specific people can see it. Basically, private means it's entirely private, but obviously administrators can see it, but that is it. So if you want to, for whatever reason, publish a page but not have it viewable to anyone, which seems a little bit contradictory, then choose private. Whereas password protected, you can specify this or even multiple pages having a password. So yeah, so if I was to type in 12345 and OK that, and then publish that, actually we can do that now just for the sake of completeness. So OK, publish. Actually, excuse me, if we're going to see that, oh no, status has been changed to publish automatically. So let's go to the page, view page. This content is password protected. That sounds very serious. So we need the password, 12345. And there, we now have access to a blank page. So let's go back to the control panel, the admin panel, pages, all pages. Back to home. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Public is fine. Status published, that's fine, doesn't matter, because nobody's visiting the site anyway. Okay, and move to trash, pretty self-explanatory. Page attributes. Does it have a parent? Does it have a parent? And if it does, which page is the parent? Okay, so yeah, we've already touched upon specifying parent of a page, or whether it has no parent. So okay, template. This will depend on your theme. This will depend a lot on your theme. But okay, the theme I'm using, as you can see, template options include this page is full width, rather than having a sidebar, or the default template does have a sidebar. But again, that very much depends on your theme and the options the theme adds to WordPress, because some themes have many different template options. Okay, and the order we've already touched upon in the previous video. Actually, out of interest, I'm just going to add some content very quickly to a page. I'm going to pause and add some content just so you can see the difference between a default template and full width page. Okay, I've just added some content very quickly. So let's take a look at how it looks now. There we go. Okay, that's the default template. And actually you can see how the site's starting to take shape with the options here, the top level options here, sub-menu options here. Okay, so let's close that. Go back to the page and let's change it from default template to full width. So update. And let's see what happens. So view page. Okay, not much difference. That's not what I was expecting actually. So that's not a good demonstration, is it? So I'm going to change the theme quickly. I don't want to get too sidetracked here, but I just want to sort of put this point across clearly. Appearance, themes. This was 2014. Let's change it to Enfold. Activate. Okay, that will do. I'm not going to change any more options now. Let's go to the home page. Let's look at the page. Okay, just one sec. Actually, I need to fix that. Changing the theme, got rid of some settings. So I have settings, reading, and front page displays. We want that to be home page. And post page doesn't matter for this, but let's just say blog. Okay, save that. Let's go back to the home page. So there we go. So that's how it's looking with a sidebar. And what we can actually do is just click on edit page here. And let's change. Okay, the options, you see, there's different options here in this theme. in the template menu, default template, archives, or blank, no header, no footer. So let's just see what that looks like. We can remove the sidebar, but that's hidden somewhere different in this theme, and it's somewhat irrelevant to this discussion. So I'm just going to choose blank, update. Okay. And let's go and see the page. And now you can see the header's gone, and also the footer as well. So let's edit it once more. Let's change it back and just see the difference. So default template again, save, well, update rather. Let's take one more look, view page. And you can see the header's back with the menu, and there's a footer as well. Okay, so back to edit page. Couple more options to go through. So featured image, where this is used, where this appears, depends on your theme. But basically, if you don't have to specify this if you choose, but there are benefits to choosing it. You're basically telling WordPress which image is most closely tied to this page or to this specific blog post, because then it will appear in the page, but also can appear in other parts of WordPress as well. So if you would like to tie a page, tie an image rather, very closely to this page, you can specify it here. So let me just do that again quickly. So featured image, set featured image. I've gone to the media library. I could upload another file if I wanted. Well, this is what's in the media library. I'll just select that. There's a whole bunch of options here, but I'm going to ignore those in this video and just click on set featured image. And there we go. Okay, there's potentially the risk for this image appearing twice now in the page, depending how the theme does things. So let's update and double check. Okay, view page. There we go, it appears at the top. You can see that's how the theme uses it, and I've already added it. So I want to remove one or the other, so I'm going to remove this one. Okay, edit. And again, I'm not going to dwell on this now because I'm going to go into this in a later video, but I just click on the image and remove. Very easy. Okay, so lots of other options have appeared here, like layout and custom fields. This is because of the theme I've just changed it to, which is an advanced theme with a lot of options. So again, a lot of these options depend on the theme and are going to be irrelevant to you because you probably aren't using this theme. So I'm going to change back to a default WordPress theme for this demonstration. Okay, so appearance, themes, let's just change back to 2014. Okay, activate. Okay, so back to pages or pages. And home, edit. So where did we get up to? Okay, we're all done on this right hand column. So let's move over here. Okay, this is the aftermath of the theme change. So generally custom fields depends on your theme, but often it will just be empty. So let me get rid of this and show you how it would look. Okay, custom fields is an advanced option. You generally don't need to worry about too much. It's often it's generally taken care of for you. But basically this allows you, again, you won't see this is theme specific, but it allows you to add more functionality to a page, to a post if you choose. But it is advanced, and we don't need to pay attention to it now, but it's there, it's an option, but you generally don't need to worry about it, or the theme takes care of it automatically for you, which is the whole point of buying a professional theme. Okay, so right, discussion. Do you want to allow comments on this page? Generally, I would say you don't allow comments on pages. You do on posts, but not on pages. But that said, some pages, like for example, if you're creating a tutorials section of your site, that lends itself to pages because the content will be updated from time to time, but not often. So it's largely static content. Maybe in a way, another way of thinking about pages versus posts, pages work as evergreen content that's going to be around a long time, whereas posts are more limited by time, if that makes sense. So if you had created a tutorials section of your site, you would probably want comments on that. But generally on an about page, on a home page, services page, comments don't make sense. And same with trackbacks and pingbacks. We've talked about those previously. You don't want those on pages generally, and often you don't want those in general because they can make things quite cluttered. Okay, slug, we don't need to change that because it's been agreed. Author, okay, there's only admin at the minute, which is me, so that's fine. But you may end up, we're going to talk about users in a later video, you may end up with multiple authors on your site, so you can assign different authors to different pages or posts. Do I want to add a comment? No. And we can see revisions. And actually that's important. Let me update the post as it's, update the page as it stands. Quickly jump down to the bottom, revisions. Here you can see different versions of the page. And if you delete something by mistake, for example, you can jump back, you can click back on an earlier version. And, okay, nothing to see at all. Here, nothing to see at all here. We can use this slider to move to different versions. So you can see how the content changed over time. As you can see, it shows you the content in HTML format. So with all the formatting code that generally gets hidden from you in WordPress. So H1, for example, specifies this is a heading 1. So that's how you can compare quickly different revisions. But again, you are looking at the code, which isn't as user-friendly as the editor, the visual editor. You can even compare multiple revisions. And then, let's say we wanted to go back to this one, we would just click on Restore. So, yeah, that's how you can go back to a previous version if you want. But let's not do that now. Okay, so that is pretty much every option on the page, except the most important one, where you create and edit pages and posts, which we'll come to shortly. Okay, and just before I wrap this up, as mentioned, this is a visual interface. It shows you how it's going to look on the page, in a way like Microsoft Word shows you how something actually looks. If you really want to look at the code here, click on the text tab, and it shows you the code that's creating your page behind the scenes. And then just click back to visual. Generally, you'll work in visual. You don't need to worry about the code in most instances.